You send a quick message to a friend. Hey, are we still meeting today? You see the little read mark appear. 5 minutes pass, 10 minutes, an hour, nothing, no reply. Suddenly, your mind starts racing. Did I say something wrong last time we talked? Are they upset with me? Did I pick a bad time? You check your phone again, scroll back through your past messages, and analyze every single word you wrote.
And the funny thing is, 2 hours later, your friend replies, "Sorry, I was driving and then my phone died." All that anxiety, all those storylines you created in your head were completely unnecessary. Why do we do this? Why can one simple message take over our entire mind and ruin a perfectly good afternoon?
That is exactly what we are exploring today. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our English Learning Podcast. I'm Anna, and today we're tackling something I think almost every single one of us struggles with from time to time.
And I'm Jake. I have to admit, Anna, I am a certified overthinker. If there were an Olympic medal for analyzing simple conversations until 3 in the morning, I would probably win gold.
You're definitely not alone, Jake. Overthinking is such a universal human experience. But while it's completely normal, it can also be exhausting. So today we want to talk about how to stop overthinking, how to give your mind a break, and how to feel more calm in your daily life, all while helping our listeners learn useful, natural English expressions along the way.
That's right. As you listen to us today, pay attention to the natural phrases and vocabulary we use. We're going to keep things conversational, clear, and easy to follow. And later in the episode, we also have 2 special sections for you. A word tour, where we break down key vocabulary, and a Say It Better section, where we show you how to upgrade basic English sentences into smooth, natural dialogue.
So grab a warm drink, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the topic. Jake, let's start at the very beginning. What does overthinking actually mean to you? How would you define it in simple terms?
To me, overthinking isn't just thinking deeply about a complex problem. Thinking deeply is great. It helps us solve problems and make good decisions. Overthinking happens when your thoughts get stuck in a continuous loop. It's when you analyze something over and over again without actually finding a solution or making progress. It feels like driving a car in a circle. You're spending a lot of energy, but you're not actually going anywhere.
That circle metaphor is spot on. I often feel like overthinking is when my brain takes a tiny spark of worry and blows it up into a massive fire. For example, if I make a minor mistake at work, maybe I misspelled a word in an email or mispronounced a name during a presentation, a normal response would be, "Oops, my bad," and then moving on. But when I overthink, my brain goes, what if everyone thinks I'm unprofessional? What if my boss loses trust in me? What if I end up getting fired?
It escalates so quickly. You go from a small spelling mistake straight to losing your job and living in a tent. It sounds funny when we say it out loud like this, but when you're in the middle of it, the feeling is very real. Your heart rate goes up, your chest feels tight, and you just can't focus on whatever you're supposed to be doing right now.
Exactly. And I think there are 2 main directions overthinking usually goes, either into the past or into the future. When we overthink the past, we replay old conversations in our mind. Have you ever done that, Jape? Replayed a conversation from 3 days ago and thought, oh, I should have said this instead of that.
Oh, absolutely. Or even worse, replaying something awkward you said 5 years ago while you're trying to fall asleep. You're lying in bed, it's pitch black, your body is tired, and suddenly your brain decides to remind you of that time you accidentally called your high school teacher Mom.
Why does the brain love doing that late at night? It's like nighttime is the official playground for overthinkers. But then the second direction is worrying about the future, which is all about the famous phrase, what if?
What if? Those 2 small words can cause so much stress. What if I fail the exam? What if the plane gets delayed? What if I go to the party and nobody talks to me? What if I try to speak English and make a silly grammar mistake?
That last example is huge for English learners. So many people who are learning a new language overthink every single sentence before they open their mouths. They think, what if I use the wrong tense? What if my accent sounds strange? And because they overthink it, they end up staying silent instead of practicing.
Which is such a shame, because making mistakes is literally the only way to become fluent. But that shows how overthinking actually holds us back from living our lives fully. It creates a barrier between us and real experiences.
Speaking of barriers, let's talk about another modern cause of overthinking, Social media. I feel like social media was basically designed to make us overthink our lives.
I couldn't agree more. You scroll through your feed and you see someone buying a new house, someone else getting promoted, another person traveling in Italy, and suddenly you start comparing your behind-the-scenes life to their highlight reel.
Highlight reel. That's a great expression. You start asking yourself, am I doing enough? Am I falling behind? Should I be further along in my career by now? You begin analyzing your life decisions based on a 30-second video posted by a stranger.
Right. You forget that nobody posts videos of themselves sitting in traffic, waiting for laundry to finish, or feeling confused about their career. We compare our everyday reality to someone else's best moments.
So, Jake, how do we distinguish between careful, healthy thinking and unhealthy overthinking? Because thinking carefully before making a choice is obviously important. We don't want to make reckless decisions without considering the consequences.
That's an important distinction. I think careful thinking leads to clarity and action. When you think carefully, you weigh your options, you gather facts, and then you make a decision or create a plan. Overthinking, on the other hand, leads to paralysis, what people call analysis paralysis.
You analyze so much that you feel paralyzed and unable to take any action at all. Analysis paralysis, that describes it perfectly. You spend 2 hours reading online reviews for a simple toaster, comparing 20 different models, looking at 5-star ratings versus 4-star ratings, until you feel so overwhelmed that you close your laptop and don't buy anything at all.
Or you spend 45 minutes picking a restaurant for dinner. You check the menu, read food reviews, look at photos of the decor, worry about parking, and by the time you choose, the place is already closed.
We laugh, but it's amazing how much mental energy we waste on tiny decisions that don't really matter in the long run.
It really is, and that mental fatigue builds up over the course of a day, leaving us feeling drained and anxious by the evening.
Well, before we jump into practical strategies for overcoming this habit, I think this is a great moment to pause and step into our word tour.
I love this part. Let's explore some key words and expressions that we've been using in our discussion today so our listeners can add them to their own English vocabulary.